I'm going to share with you yet another example of how when you treat these gig apps as a business, you also produce business-like results. And we're going to talk about that on this segment of The Gig Geezer. If this is your first time checking out The Gig Geezer, if you're a returning visitor of The Gig Geezer, thanks for coming by. And if you would not mind, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. The source of this particular example of how someone has treated working these gig apps as a business and has produced business-like results is from a Business Insider article that appeared this morning, Wednesday, March 27, 2024. And it's a South Florida-based rideshare driver who has pivoted to a much more profitable enterprise. Now, this article highlights a guy named Trent. He's 50 years old, and he began strictly as a rideshare driver. In fact, there's a little more to it, how he began as a rideshare driver. And over time, he decided, well, you know what? I'm gonna form myself an LLC, and I'm gonna get the necessary licensing. I'm also gonna get the necessary commercial insurance, and through some hookups that I'll share later, he formed his own livery business. And according to the article, this guy earned right at about $200,000 in 2023 just on his private clientele. Now, the biggest takeaway from all this that I read is that you have to treat what you do as a business. If you treat this as just for spare change, you treat this just for trying to make some quick money, then you're going to get correspondingly similar results. But if you treat this with the mindset of it as a business person, then you're going to look beyond what is presented to you just with these apps. You're going to look beyond. You're going to try to be creative and find more ways to maximize your earnings capacity and options. In fact, another thing that he even talked about, and this is something that I was big on sharing on past Gig Geezer segment back in 2022, is about accept less, earn more. But here's what he said according to the article: as long as you're cherry picking your rides, you can make a lot of money, and it doesn't matter who you are, is what he's quoted in the article as saying. Now, here's a few other things that the article mentions about him. He owns 2 vehicles, a Tesla Model S and a Cadillac Escalade. His private clientele includes politicians, celebrities, and athletes. Now, what allows him to do this is that he created and formed an LLC. He got the necessary commercial insurance for livery, and the necessary licensing and the necessary local governmental paperwork. And through some creativity and through a very fortuitous hookup through a friend, he operates a legitimate business in which he actually is able to do both rideshare and his private clientele without any scrutiny from Uber and Lyft and or the local agencies. Now, some of the things he shared about his strategy of actually attracting clientele are some of the things that another YouTube creator, Jay Watts, or otherwise known as Uber Jeep AZ, has even shared on his channel on multiple occasions. How he's really lately, Jay Watts has been sharing with people how, at least in the state of Arizona, they can actually, if they get the necessary paperwork, they can do private rides and not have any issue, and it not clash with Uber and Lyft. In South Carolina, it could be done as well. What you would have to do is, of course, get the necessary commercial insurance, the livery insurance, which is going to be, in this state, probably more than double than what you're going to pay for your regular personal auto insurance. But then you're going to also register your business. You're going to register for a business name, be it an LLC or a corporation. And you're going to also file things through the Office of Regulatory Services. Then you have an actual legitimate livery operation, at least in the state of South Carolina. Now, the article did note that the article did also revealed that Trent has costs. His costs include about $6,000 a month in car payments for the Tesla and the Cadillac, and his cost for gas and or electricity is about $1,700 a month, and he also allots for $400 a month for insurance, and he also mentions about how he puts money back for eventualities like maintenance. He also mentioned how, at least in part of treating what he does as a business, he's got business cards. He doesn't dress just anyway. He doesn't show up wearing a tank top and shorts. He wears khakis and a dress shirt, or khakis and a business type shirt. Or he wears khakis and some collared shirt, typically a dress shirt. And he's not afraid. And he's not afraid to ask for the business, which is something that I've shared a number of times in past segments of the Gig Geezer. You can't be afraid to ask for the business. And so, like many, Trent happened his way into rideshare. And according to the article, it notes that Trent has a master's degree in Russian history. He also had put in hours towards a doctorate degree. He also worked in a couple of federal government agencies like U.S. Border Patrol and as a U.S. Air Marshal. And then he held various management jobs through be it restaurant, retail stores, and even a hospital. But it was his working at a hospital 100 hours a week or more, in which he actually suffered a stroke, and it was discovered that he had 6 aneurysms on his brain. Additionally, he even had inflammation of his blood vessels, which was attacking his immune system, and he was given 6 months to live. So at one point, he actually had figured, well, this is it. He had bought some land to where he would be buried, but then he decided, well, you know what? Let me try this rideshare, and the rideshare became his therapy. And as his health improved, he spent more time driving. And as a result, he also, through his creativity, formed a private enterprise. So it can be done, even if it's not rideshare. If it's what we're doing with primarily, so like for myself, since I do primarily delivery and transport, I've talked of a cash game. And earlier this week, the cash game came through, at least on Monday, because of an opportunity that I had initially through working a gig app. I transported some furniture from Columbia to Greer, but in the process, the lady had always kept up with me. I'd given her my business card, and she tried to hook me up with a few opportunities, but they never came through. But an opportunity actually came through this week, in which I transported some furniture that she bought from one part of Lexington County to where she lived in Columbia City proper, and that earned me $120. So it can be done. What I wanted to share was just the information from this article, something that would get you to thinking about what you're doing out there as you work these gig apps, or as you go about building your personal enterprise. And with that, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment of the Gig Geezer, or in any other segment of Gig Geezer, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm Inwood Lane, and as always, may your grind and may your hustle continue.